The beast that shredded armies rolled over Purring, when a human called it buddy General Korthax stood at the edge of what had once been the draconian Third Fleet's forward operating base. The crystalline structures that had housed 10,000 elite warriors were now nothing more than twisted metal and scattered debris. Claw marks the size of transport shuttles scarred the reinforced walls, and the ground was littered with fragments of military-grade armor that had been shredded like paper. "Sir," his aide, Commander Veltar, approached with visible reluctance. "The reconnaissance drones have confirmed it. The Void Ripper is moving toward the civilian evacuation zone." Korthax's mandibles clicked in frustration. 3 weeks ago, the creature had emerged from the dimensional rift on Kepler 7, and nothing they threw at it made any difference. Plasma cannons, antimatter warheads, even their most advanced psionic weaponry, all useless against the beast that military databases had classified as Extinction Event Level Omega. The Void Ripper stood 12 meters tall, with a body that seemed to be carved from living shadow and starlight. Its 6 limbs ended in claws that could slice through reality itself, creating temporary rifts in space-time. Its 3 heads moved, independently, each one capable of breathing plasma hot enough to melt through a battleship's hull. Worst of all, the creature fed on energy. The more firepower directed at it, the stronger it became. "How long until it reaches New Geneva Colony?" Korthax asked. 6 hours, sir. The evacuation ships are already overloaded. We can't get everyone out in time. Korthax closed his eyes. 50,000 civilians, mostly families of military personnel. His failure would doom them all. The Galactic Defense Council had already written off the system, pulling back their forces to establish a containment perimeter. Standard protocol when facing a Void Ripper was simple. Evacuate everything within a 50 light-year radius and pray it eventually went dormant. "Sir," Veltar continued hesitantly, "there is one thing. We've detected an unauthorized shuttle heading directly toward the creature's position." "What?" Korthax's eyes snapped open. "Who would be insane enough to—" "It's a human, sir. A single human in a maintenance shuttle." Korthax felt his blood run cold. Humans were the newest members of the Galactic Federation, barely a century since first contact. They were known for their strange habits and inexplicable behavior, but this was suicide even by their standards. "Get me a comlink to that shuttle immediately." The holographic display flickered to life, showing a young human male with dark hair and an easy smile. He appeared to be in his mid-20s, wearing simple civilian clothing and displaying absolutely no sign of fear, despite flying directly toward certain death. "This is General Korthax of the Draconian Defense Force," he transmitted. "Human, you are flying directly toward a Class Omega extinction threat. Turn back immediately." The human's smile widened. "Hey there, General. Jake Morrison, animal behaviorist from Earth. Thanks for the warning, but I'm exactly where I need to be." "Animal behaviorist?" Korthax's translator struggled with the term. Human Morrison the Void Ripper is not an animal. It is a force of pure destruction that has eliminated 12 star systems. It cannot be reasoned with, tamed, or— "Hold that thought, General," Jake interrupted, studying something on his shuttle's sensors. "Yeah, okay, I can see why you'd think that. But trust me, I've seen this behavior pattern before." Before Korthax could respond, the comlink went silent. On his scanner, Jake watched the massive creature moving across the landscape below. The Void Ripper was indeed impressive, easily the largest predator he'd ever encountered. But Jake had spent 15 years working with Earth's most dangerous animals, from Siberian tigers to Kodiak bears, from great whites to saltwater crocodiles. He'd learned long ago that size and lethality didn't necessarily correlate with aggression. More importantly, he'd learned to read body language. The way the Void Ripper moved, the positioning of its heads, the rhythm of its steps, Jake recognized it all. This wasn't the behavior of a mindless destroyer. This was the behavior of a confused, frightened animal that had been violently displaced from its natural environment. Jake landed his shuttle in a clearing approximately 1 kilometer from the creature. As he stepped out, he could feel the heat radiating from its plasma breath and hear the low rumble of its movement through the ground. The smart thing would be to stay in the shuttle. Instead, Jake walked toward the creature. He kept his movements slow and deliberate, his posture non-threatening. He'd left all technology behind except for a small translator unit and a backpack full of what the Draconian military would consider completely useless supplies. The Void Ripper noticed him immediately. All three heads turned in his direction, plasma beginning to build in their throats as they assessed this new threat. Jake stopped walking and sat down cross-legged on the ground, making himself appear as small and non-threatening as possible. "Hey there, big guy," he said softly, his translator converting his words into harmonic frequencies. "I know you're scared. You're a long way from home, aren't you?" The creature's heads tilted slightly, the plasma charge diminishing. Jake recognized the body language, curiosity overriding aggression. "That's right, buddy," Jake continued, using the same tone he'd used with traumatized rescue animals. "I'm not here to hurt you. Nobody's trying to hurt you anymore." Back at the command center, General Korthax watched in horror as the human appeared to be having a conversation with the most dangerous predator in known space. "Is he insane? It's going to vaporize him." But the Void Ripper didn't vaporize Jake. Instead, it took a cautious step forward, lowering its massive heads to examine this strange small creature that showed no fear. Jake slowly reached into his backpack and pulled out what looked like a metallic sphere. "I bet you're hungry, aren't you? The energy from all those weapons probably tasted terrible. Here, try this." He activated the sphere, and it began emitting a specific type of quantum energy signature, one that Jake's research had suggested might be similar to the creature's natural food source. It was a complete guess based on limited data about the Void Ripper's home dimension, but it was educated guess. The creature's reaction was immediate. All three heads perked up, and a sound emerged from its throat that the military had never heard before. Something almost like a purr, if purrs could shake mountains. "There we go," Jake said, rolling the energy sphere toward the creature. "That's better than weapons fire, isn't it?" The Void Ripper delicately picked up the sphere with one massive claw and absorbed its energy. For the first time since its arrival, the creature's aggressive posturing completely disappeared. Jake slowly stood up and took a few steps closer. "You're not a monster, are you, buddy? You're just lost." Over the next hour, Jake continued to approach the creature, speaking in calming tones and offering more energy spheres from his pack. The Void Ripper responded like an enormous interdimensional cat, eventually lying down and allowing Jake to approach within touching distance. "The scans are wrong," Jake transmitted to the stunned military command. "This isn't a predator. Look at the wear patterns on its claws, the muscle development, the social behaviors. This is a herbivore from its home dimension. It's been eating energy because it can't find its natural food source." "Impossible," Korthax replied. "It destroyed 3 fleets." "Because you kept shooting at it," Jake responded, now sitting comfortably against the creature's flank as it rested. "Imagine if you were lost in a strange place, couldn't find food, and everyone you met started throwing spears at you. You'd defend yourself too." Jake spent the next several hours with the creature, which he had decided to call Cosmo. Using portable, quantum generators, he created a steady supply of the energy signatures that seemed to calm and nourish the massive being. More importantly, he established trust. "The dimensional rift that brought Cosmo here is still open," Jake explained to the assembled military leaders via hologram. "But it's been destabilized by all the weapons fire. Cosmo can't get home on its own." "What are you suggesting?" "General," Korthax asked, "help it get home. Use your ship's tractor beams to stabilize the rift. Cosmo just needs a clear path back to its own dimension." The military leaders exchanged glances. "Human Morrison, even if your theory is correct, how do we know this creature won't simply return with others of its kind?" Jake looked up at Cosmo's massive head, which was currently resting peacefully nearby. "Because Cosmo's going to tell them not to, aren't you, buddy?" The creature made that mountain-shaking purring sound again, and gently nuzzled Jake with a head the size of a small building. The operation took 6 hours. Military ships worked in careful coordination to stabilize the dimensional rift, while Jake guided Cosmo toward the opening. The creature, which had terrorized 3 star systems, followed Jake's lead like a loyal pet following its favorite human. At the edge of the rift, Cosmo paused and looked back at Jake. The human reached up and patted one of its massive claws, Go on, buddy, your family's probably worried about you. The creature stepped through the rift which sealed itself behind it, with a flash of interdimensional energy. Later, as Jake was being debriefed by a dozen different military and scientific organizations, General Corthax asked the question everyone wanted answered. How did you know?